Good evening. A royal family accustomed to crisis is tonight in uncharted territory.
The former Prince Andrew, a police suspect, not charged but under investigation for corruption, treason that's punishable with life in jail.
The disgraced former Duke was arrested while detectives searched his new home at Sandringham and his old residence near Windsor Castle. His position and power have offered him no protection from investigation that's been triggered by links to paedophile friend Jeffrey Epstein.
Our correspondents have live details on the fallout from Buckingham Palace as the King responds. But first, foreign editor Hugh Whitfield begins our coverage on a day of royal shame.
After 11 hours in custody, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor humiliated. Any effort to avoid being snapped in the backseat of this car failing spectacularly. The end of a long day when his life further and very rapidly unravelled.
Absolutely seismic, unprecedented, historic.
This is an extraordinary series of events for the royal family.
On the King's own Sandringham estate, police arrived at 8 a.m. without warning. Andrew was read his rights as detectives began their search, rifling through drawers and cupboards at his new home and his old residence, Royal Lodge, 200 kilometres away on the Windsor estate.
They could either have invited Andrew Mountbatten Windsor to a police station and arranged a time for him to go in, or they could have done what they ended up doing, which was the element of surprise and turning up on his doorstep at breakfast time.
He was later taken to a local police station where he spent 9 hours after being fingerprinted and asked to offer a saliva swab for DNA, a mugshot too. He would have faced detectives' questions. It's still unclear how cooperative he may have been. All on his 66th birthday.
This is just an extraordinary fall from grace. Here was the man that was born into wealth and privilege, a Royal Naval officer, decorated, and now he's been languishing in a police station all day today.
Before being released and driven home. The King also given no advance warning. His Majesty releasing a statement, unusually in his own words. "I have learned with the deepest concern," he said, "the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. My family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all."
Do you have any reaction to the arrest of your brother, sir?
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest?
Today, amid all the questions, that duty and service meant attending a London fashion show, watching models on the catwalk as his brother sat in a police interview room. Andrew's arrest is not related to his leading accuser, the late Virginia Giuffre, or the sex trafficking ring run by Jeffrey Epstein. Instead, it's the information Andrew was privy to as a UK trade envoy for a decade until 2011. Documents released in the Epstein files appear to show the then Prince was forwarding on to the disgraced financier confidential and sensitive government reports, including about investment opportunities. The offence is being investigated over misconduct in public office, which includes abusing the public's trust. It carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing. Still from Virginia Giuffre's family today.
Kudos to the UK for taking the first step, for saying, you know what, we are going to arrest somebody who is held to one of the highest esteems out there, somebody who was a former prince. I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling.
Donald Trump was on board Air Force One.
I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family.
The King is due to visit the US in April. Princess Anne today not talking and not cancelling a planned visit to a prison, gaining new insights. Their brother, the late Queen's favourite son, stripped of his titles, any remaining royal dignity, yet Andrew is still 8th in line to the throne for now. This 1,000-year-old institution being stress-tested like never before.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is not any other person. And that is why this marks, I would contest, the biggest crisis for the royal family in a century.
This is the worst crisis since the abdication.
That was 1936. King Edward stepped down, the last royal to be arrested, King Charles I, under house arrest in 1647. He was later beheaded. 379 years later, this man shrinks from prince to pariah and potentially soon to be a prisoner. Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Live to Ben Downey outside Andrew's home at Sandringham. And Ben, it's less than 24 hours since police drove through those gates, setting off an astonishing chain of events.
That's for sure, Angie. That breakfast time raid here at Wood Farm struck like an earthquake. It came without warning, fear or favour for the former prince. Police acting here with the full knowledge that every step they take will be placed under the most intense scrutiny. And if this does end up before a court, which appears increasingly likely, it is a legal saga that has the potential to go on for years. The scandal, too, with it expected to roll on and on and on, and who knows who might else be dragged into it. Michael?
All right, Ben, thank you for that. So let's go to Buckingham Palace now, where we find Jacqueline Robson. Jackie, feels like the Royals are happy to throw Andrew to the wolves.
Well, Michael, that blunt message from the King himself certainly sets that tone, and it must be said there is little love left for his disgraced brother among the British people. Andrew has become wildly unpopular here, summed up by the headline in the Sun newspapers this morning, "Now he's sweating." And let's be frank, the ruthless UK tabloids can usually smell blood in the water. Make no mistake, crucial in all of this is the role of Prince William. He's known to be seething with anger about the shame his uncle has already brought to the family, and that's sure to influence how the palace manages this crisis in the days, weeks and months ahead. Angie?
All right, Jackie, live from London, thank you. Hugh Whitfield's here now. Hugh, the modern royals, they've survived so many scandals. What about this one?
Angie, they can survive this, but this will push the institution to breaking point. And what transpires over the next few weeks and months, including at any possible eventual trial, will be a defining test for the cancer-stricken king, and not one he will want to dominate his remaining reign. The headlines, the drama, the stench of corruption and criminality won't be going away. It all leads to what we're seeing on British streets, a public willing to heckle and a royal press pack no longer doing what it's told by the palace. That will all intensify. And for Andrew, it might not just come down to what he allegedly did, but what he says, not just about his actions, but those of others. The net is widening as police hone in. Angie, Michael.
All right, Hugh, thank you very much for that. Well, to a big development here tonight in the hunt for the North Ryde grandfather kidnapped from his home last week in a case of mistaken identity.
Detectives have raided a property at Dural where they say the man was held hostage as recently as yesterday.
At Dural today, heavy lifting and hard yards.
We've had a significant progression in the investigation.
Police searching for kidnapped grandfather Chris Bagzarian with their biggest breakthrough yet.
We believe we have found the location where Mr Bagzarian was kept for some time.
This derelict home on Dural's Wildthorn Avenue, 4 days after 7 News revealed these snapshots of a bloodied severed finger. Detectives have matched the tiles and carpet to the interiors here.
Have you found a severed finger in that property?
I'm not going to comment on anything along those lines.
The captors had fled when police pounced on the property last night, but this much they know.
They were there at some stage in the last 7 days.
Detectives are now pulling the property apart and scouring surrounding bushland.
Saw lots of police cars in this area taped off. Kind of shocked, I guess.
7 News has spoken to the property owners. They confirm the house has sat empty for at least 2 years and the captors broke in. It's exactly 1 week since 85-year-old Bagzarian was abducted from his North Ryde home in a case of mistaken identity.
So hope is fading, but we won't give up trying to find him alive.
And tonight, a call for help on Sydney's northern fringe.
Today we're appealing for the people of Dural. Have you seen people coming and going that don't fit that area or look suspicious to you? Have you heard anything? Please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Now, detectives tracked the stolen cars using a breadcrumb trail of CCTV to lead them here to this property in Dural. 7 News understands that they were in the suburb on Monday speaking with a local Hungry Jacks and car wash, checking for their vision. Honing down on this property yesterday, monitoring it throughout the day before making their move last night. And it's understood tonight they're continuing to monitor CCTV to try and track these captors down.
Sam Payne, thank you. An alleged road rage incident is being blamed for chaos on the M4 today. A wall inside the tunnel at Ashfield was left severely damaged after a truck and van collided and crashed. This dashcam captured the almighty sound of that impact. The truck driver suffered minor injuries while the man behind the wheel of the van wasn't injured. All westbound lanes were closed for several hours as crews cleared the scene. Police are investigating.
4 teenagers are tonight behind bars accused of carrying out underworld attacks on former NRL star Matt Utai and his family. But police are still hunting the criminal puppet masters orchestrating the violence.
Marching down a Lilyfield street, heavily armed police come knocking. Police on board! 4 teenagers taken in, believed to be connected to 3 separate attacks this week. A shooting on Tuesday of former NRL star Matt Utai, who remains in a serious condition in hospital. The spraying of a St Clair home early Wednesday. And finally, a firebombing at Guildford West.
This is the start of the destruction, brother.
Targeted attacks on relatives of Matt's son Isaiah, who police allege is part of the newly formed Coconut Cartel, at war with the notorious Alameddine crime family. Across 5 suburbs, an 18-year-old arrested in Riverwood and 19-year-old Issa Rijab in Villawood, accused of orchestrating the Guildford West firebombing. Rijab also allegedly found with a kilo of cocaine. A 16-year-old arrested in Auburn and 19-year-old Khaldoon Kazma nabbed for allegedly helping with the shooting of the former league star.
We believe they were most likely acting as a criminal for hire group.
Police believe these jobs are being ordered by people overseas. They're vowing to hunt down whoever is pulling the strings, saying that wherever they are, they're not out of reach.
They're simply too afraid to come to Australia, and they're using young people to commit crime on their behalf, promising them riches that they will never ever get.
But there are still suspects on the run. The person who shot Matt Utai, as well as the gunman in this video.
I'm at the windows, lad.
Isaiah Utai may be out of the country, but the havoc he's left behind is spreading through Sydney. Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Like it or not, the ISIS brides and their children are returning to Australia. That declaration from the public servant who oversaw critical laws to protect the country against returning terrorists. But that hasn't stopped calls on the government to do more to block their return.
Talking up celebrations.
At the moment, how good's this country?
The Prime Minister launches a Ramadan night market in southeastern Melbourne.
We've got Lunar New Year, we've got Ramadan, we've got Lent.
Dandenong's bars and baklava. With Lebanese twist. A world away from eastern Syria, where 11 Australian women and 23 children want to leave the Al-Raj refugee camp and come home.
Short of stripping someone's citizenship from them, which is a very, very high bar, people are entitled to return.
Mike Pizzullo was head of Home Affairs when Parliament passed the anti-terrorism temporary exclusion orders, now in use against one of the so-called ISIS brides.
Temporary exclusion orders are there to deal with exactly this situation.
Mike Pizzullo says the orders can delay but will not block the brides from their homecoming.
Boil it all down, they're Australian citizens. Ultimately, whether I like it or not, they will be back here.
We have to follow the law as it is.
The Prime Minister says his government is not assisting the group, though they have received passports. Mr Albanese appeared to soften his position from yesterday when he said he held the group in contempt.
I am sympathetic with the children, and it's a very difficult situation that they face.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
They've rocked the Opera House, now Crowded House, are about to bring back some much-needed joy to Bondi Beach. Reporter Taylor Aikens there for us. Taylor, good evening to you. The great band's about to make some Bondi memories that we can all smile about.
Michael, in just a few hours, the crowds here at Bondi Beach will be rocking out to the music of Crowded House as part of the Golden Hour music event. Crowds have just begun piling in here down on the beach, with the main stage sitting directly on the sand, with guests encouraged to bring a picnic rug, settle up on the hill, ready for a sunset show. Local artist Thelma Plum will take to the stage in about half an hour. Then the headliner, none other than Australian rock powerhouse and 13-time ARIA Award winner, Crowded House. It's the first major concert on Bondi Beach in more than a decade, with organisers saying this is the beginning of an annual event promising new artists and experiences every year. And by kicking off with Crowded House, don't dream it's over.
Spot on. All right, Taylor, down at Bondi. Thank you for that.
The Bulldogs have officially touched down in Las Vegas, the first NRL team to arrive ahead of next weekend's opening round. Live to Jaleesa Apps, who is there. Jaleesa, there's good news for one of their biggest stars as well.
Angie, even being the absolute athlete that I am very stiff and sore after that flight, but Matt Burton is not. He's feeling really good despite a week ago being under an injury cloud for the upcoming game. Now, obviously, he hurt his hamstring in the side's trial win over the Knights a week ago, but he's managed to make a remarkable recovery. He said to me he's back to full training and he's in no doubt for the season opener. That is very good news for Bulldogs fans who were thinking that perhaps he would miss this one and then he would be rested for the next week where they have a bye and come back in round 3. But he assures me there is nothing to tick off. He is good to go.
Yeah, feeling good. We just got off the business class flight, so plenty of room on there. Laying the hemi up, feels all good, ready to go.
How is the hemi?
Yeah, it's sweet. I trained all week with it, so I was just a little scared, so yeah, ready to go.
Now, that is very good news for the NRL, who are, of course, relying on his booming boot to sell the game here to the Americans, but also good news for Matt Burton himself, with a bit of a question mark over his future. There could be NFL scouts that are perhaps looking for the next Aussie punter, so good news all round. It's good to see him in the game, and only about a week and a little bit till kick-off.
Not too long at all. Jaleesa, thank you very much.
OK, let's check today's weather now with Angelique Opie. And Angelique, as you can see behind us, it was an overcast end of the week.
Michael, Angie, grey skies rolled in over Sydney. Patches of blue in parts this morning in the CBD. Light falls overnight for Katoomba and a foggy start, dropping to 16 degrees. Elsewhere, Sydney siders slept through an uncomfortably warm night. Temperatures in some suburbs didn't drop past 23 degrees. 29 the top in Penrith, Badgerys Creek and in Wyong. Cooler 25 in Terry Hills and Manly. Severe thunderstorms are developing through central inland parts of New South Wales and a warning has been issued. More storms and showers are ahead this weekend. Details later in the show.
OK, we'll look forward to them. Angel, thank you for that.